had the urge.
Celebrate it. Want to hear a joke about celebrate it? These monks were recopying their scriptures from the monastery. They're all celibate monks. And they were copying from other copies, not the original. So one monk said, well, how do we know there's not a mistake? And the head monk said, yeah, well, that's a good point. You should go get the original. So he said, go check the original and see if we've done it right. And he came down 2 hours later and this monk was crying uncontrollably. And he'd been a monk, celibate monk for like 50 years. He said, what's wrong? He said, it's not celibate, it's celebrate. Anyway. So, does someone have good handwriting and like to write? Because we're going to do an exercise, we need someone to write.
You can do it.
Good and fast. So, there's some paper there, you can erase that. We're going to do a cost-benefit analysis on forgiveness. So, if you do a cost-benefit first, we'll do the benefits, what we get, and then we'll do the cost, what we have to pay. So as you let us know, first we'll do the benefits. What do we get? What benefits do we get from being resentful? And then we can write them on the board. And we can look at them and see how stupid we are. Benefits. What's the benefit we get?
I'm being resentful.
What do you get from it? Because if we didn't get something, as we were saying before, if you don't get anything, why do it? It's got to have some payoff, right? You must be getting something.
You get the feeling that you're right.
Yes, get to be right. You like to be right? What else do we get?
You feel light and elevated without potatoes in your bag.
This is what you get from keeping the potatoes in your bag.
Yeah, I said without potatoes in your bag, so you feel light.
We're talking about when you feel resentful.
Why?
When you
Like,
feel resentful. I thought benefits of
No.
removing.
No.
Benefits of holding on to it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
why are you holding on to it? What's
So
that?
then heavy, you feel
So-
heavy.
That's not a benefit, though. It has to be something that feels
Oh,
good.
then,
Well, that you get to hate somebody. In that case, the potatoes you get to hate.
good to hate.
I think that even though this doesn't seem like a benefit to some people, it is feeling like a victim.
Yeah, well, that's a benefit, because you have a story why you fail. And you have a lot of friends who sympathize with the victim. You know, there was this guy who used to get in accidents, consciously, subconsciously, because his friends would never visit him until he was in the hospital. So he just kept getting in accidents, subconsciously programmed. Life is weird. What else do we get?
Like, just being able to have some feeling about it. Feeling like if you don't feel like resentment, then you're just, I don't know,
Excitement,
maybe?
emotion,
Yeah.
power, all three. Definitely power, right? Excitement. I think in some cases you would feel like an oddball if you weren't resentful. Like people would think, what's wrong with you? Like you can, belong, be acceptance.
Maybe it feels more appropriate. Like if your child was killed or something, if you went on with your life and you were able to forgive, people would say,
Something
you
wrong
must
with
not
you.
have loved your child very much.
Yeah. Abnormal.
Maybe
So it could be normal. Yeah. You get to be normal like everybody else. I mean, it kind of goes along with acceptance.
Maybe attention or sympathy.
We'll get attention and sympathy, definitely. You poor thing, how could they have done that to you?
It goes with, perhaps with feeling right, that like a self-righteousness.
Definitely.
Some people, like, it seems like they only have negative things to talk about, so it's like they get to maybe connect with people through it in some way because they don't know how to connect on like positive.
Oh, misery.
Connect. Something juicy to talk about.
Listen, awesome. Yeah.
Connect through shared misery.
You know, some people, well, you
Yeah.
know, but I think there's some people who thrive on complaining.
Yeah.
And if they didn't have anything to complain about, they'd get quite,
Right.
they might have anxiety attack.
Yes. I know
Is
something
it?
like that, yes.
It's interesting.
I wonder too if sometimes it maintains a connection with the person that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Mm.
Perverted connection.
Yeah.
Oh, it keeps that alive.
Right. Connection.
And it's like stay in that pain.
Because sometimes things happen where like you really want to be friends with that person, but they, you know, are not wanting to be, or something happened where they're thwarting you. So I wonder if, you know, like your hurt kind of turns into anger, and then by holding on to that, it kind of makes you, you know.
Connected to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So attachment.
But that's the way
Another word.
hatred, yeah, it's the opposite of love, so
Right.
it's an intense meditation.
Yeah.
It's a kind of connection. We're very connected with people we hate. And it's the opposite of love, attraction, repulsion.
Yeah.
It's the same, other side of the same coin.
It's also an excuse for
Like getting a master's degree.
true. Of getting a master's degree and you blame a person for your misery or something.
Yeah.
So you remove the responsibility.
Like kind of victim.
Blame,
Yeah.
excuse, blame, victim. Blame is good. I mean, if you're going to fail, it helps to have somebody to blame. Then you can feel good about yourself. It's not my fault.
It's an escape. Like you don't have to do the hard work of experiencing the feelings. You know, just
Oh, yeah.
stay.
In denial.
Yeah.
You don't have to, yeah, you don't have to do that. You don't have to become free from resentment. Because it's not your fault. You don't have to do any work.
Or claim any of your own responsibility for
Right.
it. Do all the only projecting.
Right. So you get to be irresponsible. That's a big one, right? Okay, I want to read a message I got. While you guys were sleeping, meditating, I got a message. Want to hear it? The gods were speaking to me. They actually put you to sleep so I could get this message. And this is what they said. They said, forgiveness is a repulsive subject for you earthlings. For to forgive means giving up your for to forgive means you lose your well-guarded savings of abuse stories, injustices, losses, unhealed wounds, grudges, old insults, and betrayals. Should I read that again? I actually think I have an edited version of this. Let me see. Doesn't look like the one I read the other day. Okay. Forgiveness is a repulsive subject for your earthlings. For to forgive means you giving up your well-guarded savings of abuse stories, injustices, losses, unhealed wounds, grudges, old insults, and betrayals. Why is it that you want to save these things? You must find them useful. Right? The savings account of all the bad things that have happened or been done to you is used to justify your blame and anger. It also justifies the favorite mottos of your earthlings. It wasn't my fault. I was wronged, and I didn't deserve this. You owe me, I'll sue him, etc. Your victim misfortune stories feed all sorts of petty vengeance and rationalize your self-pity. Anytime one of your earthlings turns into a rapist, serial killer, terrorist, or some kind of other mad criminal, it's fairly certain that your victim misfortune account is overflowing.
Did somebody from outer space send us something?
While you were sleeping. Whenever one of you grows smart enough to suggest forgiveness, the rest of you team up against him. You know if you buy into his ideas, you'll be bankrupt. He will threaten all of your how I've suffered stories. How cruel and foolish could he be to ask you to take personal responsibility? How stupid is he to even suggest that abusers should be left off the hook and criminals set free while you are blamed, the poor victim, for not forgiving? Isn't that interesting? Your economy could not survive widespread forgiving. Victims with grudges are big money. So anyone's recommendation to accept, forgive, and get on with life is not only threatening your cherished emotional dramas, but also running into vested interests that make millions and billions of dollars protecting your right to be victims. So this is my favorite part. Your culture has a love for retaliation and revenge. Watch the first 20 minutes of your action-adventure movies, and you'll see the hero suffering at the hands of some strange human abuser. The more terrible the abuse, the better the hero's justification for spending the rest of the PG-13 movie made for your teenagers with adult language and graphic violence, taking horrible, often murderous revenge. This is the model you offer your children. If someone hurts you, you get even. There's also a preemptive version. Sometimes you have to get even first. Anyway, it goes on like this. It's true that your courts and laws, as well as your physical resources, restrain most of you from taking the violent actions of your movie heroes. Still, you model your life on the first 20 minutes of the movie, exaggerating the misfortunes of your own life, attempting to satisfy your desire for retribution in daydreams of revenge. You guard your victimhood with determination. If you lose that, what have you got left? How would you justify your righteous anger? Your righteous anger, is there any other kind? Makes you feel powerful. Your enemies are the personal responsibility activists who want you to see what part you play in your misfortune. To you, their suggestion to forgive is a disempowering attack. Anyway, it goes on. That was good enough for now. You like the gods? They speak the truth. Okay, so now it's going to get a little more depressing than this. We see all the wonderful benefits we're getting. We can be irresponsible. We get to be right. We can hate people, self-righteous, and get it, and do it in a justifiable way. Get people's sympathy. You can connect in a perverted way. You can be in denial. You don't have to work on yourselves. A lot of benefits. Okay. So now you can erase it. We're going to do the costs. What are we paying for that? Can any of you identify with any of these? Yeah.
Not very frequently. That's why it's so painful when it happens.
Yeah. It's good, it's good to recognize that when it happens, there's something that we're getting we can't let go. The I'm right thing is huge. We can do a little fun exercise. Okay, let's do it now. Now's a good time to do it. Since we need it. Okay, you need a partner for this exercise. Just find somebody sitting next to you. And we're going to have some fun. You want to have fun? You guys awake? Waking up to have fun? So we have even numbers now, right? Okay, this is the exercise. You face your partner, and we're going to have an argument. Sounds fun, doesn't it? This is the argument. You tell your partner you're right. That's it. You just have an argument.
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right. I'm right about this. I'm right. I'm right.
That's me.
Don't let them convince you they're right. Don't let them convince you.
No, we use different words or just two. I'm right.
Similar words, you know.
But I don't even know what to say.
Check your box, because I'm right.
I'm right.
Okay. All right. Good job. Good job. As we know, we don't have to know what we're arguing about. As long as we're right, it doesn't matter. Have you ever had an argument and forgot what you were arguing about?
No.
It happens to some people. In the middle of the heat of the argument, they're just trying to be right. And what are we arguing about? So, this is part of the nature of the false ego. It has a strong desire to be right, even when it doesn't know what it's arguing about. What do you think of that exercise? Interesting. Like hard just to say, okay, you're right. Okay, so now, let's you have to do the cost. So what are we paying for all these wonderful benefits?
Stomachache.
Stomachache? Probably worse than that too.
Headache. Sleepless nights.
You missed an H there.
Oh,
Physical ailments, sleepless nights.
Time.
Time, wasted energy too. Energy, costs us energy as well.
Well, I have a book about how to bring prosperity into your life, and one of the things that you have to do is forgiveness.
Yeah. It's costing you money.
Yeah.
I went to a seminar and they said you can't make money if you're not forgiving.
relationships.
Yeah.
You can easily end up alone.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing.
Loneliness.
A general dissatisfaction.
Depression.
anxiety. Feel anxious to have to see that person.
All the first world problems here.
Yeah. Yes.
Anything else? They were saying sometimes it costs you a good meditation session, right? A good chanting session.
Yeah. Spiritual growth.
Yeah.
The loss of it.
Yeah. You know, you've heard that saying, affluenza? Someone wrote a book, didn't they? Affluenza. These are some of the symptoms of affluenza.
What is that loss of, what is that, like influenza? I don't get it.
Yeah.
No, if you have so much affluence,
Yeah.
you have so much wealth, it makes you crazy.
Then you have,
Affluenza is a first world disease.
Yeah.
So you get you go to the party and your friend has a more expensive dress than you have, and you just go into a state of depression. Do you think it's bad here? It's worse in India, in the higher class families. I'm telling you, talk to you. If you're not wearing like at least $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of jewelry, purses, and clothes, you don't even get the time to dance. Yeah. The caste consciousness, it's really, that's amazing. And friends told me about like how much money they have to spend to go to a wedding, for these high rollers won't talk to them and their family. Weird. Very spiritual country, isn't it? Okay, we get the idea. There's probably many other things we could list, but I think this puts things in perspective. What benefits we get, which are very perverted, and what we're paying for it. We're paying dearly. I mean, does anybody think it's worth holding on to their resentment at this cost?
oh yeah, it costs you peace. Should I erase these?
Maybe leave it up.
Okay.
Leave it up just to rub it in. Now, we're going to do a little work on beliefs regarding forgiveness. We have a worksheet somewhere. We're going to pass out.
Like this?
If you can find it, don't pass it out yet, but you can find it, then I'll just explain a little bit about beliefs and then. Do you have something to say? Beliefs about forgiveness? Did we print that up or not? I thought I saw it. Just one page.
Forgiveness is illogical.
No. Why don't you hand me there? I thought we had it. No? Maybe not. Well, then we can talk about it.
Divine
No,
respect.
this is the only thing we printed, right? You only printed one thing?
What's that?
You only printed this. I didn't send you anything else.
On the back 2 pages
Oh,
are
about beliefs.
definitions and the,
You have beliefs in the back. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's good. So, the very end. Yeah. Okay. So, before you look at the end, and you're already looking at it, let's go back to page 4 and we'll just read a little bit, and then I'll explain the worksheet. So this is under beliefs. It says beliefs, uncover your beliefs about forgiveness. Beliefs are subjective convictions that something is true. Beliefs are the way you make sense out of life. What you believe may or not be true, but your beliefs affect your actions and alter your perception. You may have beliefs that prevent you from forgiving. Such beliefs are usually rules that you make up that determine when it is and when it isn't okay to forgive. I'll forgive if he apologizes. I would forgive what was done if he wasn't my brother. I can't forgive this right away, etc. So, beliefs are like rules, and we all have rules in life. Consciously or unconsciously, we have rules. If you look at your life, you've got rules. That's how we play the game. And so a lot of us have beliefs or rules about forgiveness we don't even know we have. And some people are waiting for the person to apologize, right? So, does anyone have any keys I could borrow for a second? Okay, Sandra's keys.
Careful, they're heavy.
So, let's say this is my forgiveness, right? And I'm waiting, and Sandra has hurt me, and I can't forgive her. So I'm waiting for her to apologize. That means I'm taking my power to forgive and I'm giving it to her. So I give you the keys. Sandra is holding the keys to my forgiveness, and I only get them back when she apologizes, right? So now there's nothing I can do but wait. Right? It's totally in her hands. That's another definition of stupid, right? I can't do anything now, because unless she apologizes, I can't forgive. She has the keys to my forgiveness. She took them right out of my hands. So beliefs are like that. We create conditions, and then we're slaves to those conditions. So some of us may have a belief about forgiveness. That's the reason where we won't forgive. It's just, well, if it wasn't my brother, I can't. That was okay, but it was my brother. But if it was my co-worker, I would forgive, but I can't forgive my brother. So now there's a condition. You put yourself in a corner. You can't forgive because it's your brother. So we want to see if we can uncover some of the beliefs. So if you go back to that worksheet, you're going to get to score yourself. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you believe each of those beliefs. Is it the second or third to the last page? Second to last page. So all you have to do is go down, and if you don't believe it, put a 0. If you kind of believe it, put a lower number. If you're not sure, you can put a 5, and if you strongly believe it, it's going to be over 5. But I'll give you a little hint. Any number that you put on there is a red flag, especially the higher the number. So in a perfectly forgiving world, everyone would have 0 for everything. But I'm not saying you should have. This is just to let you make you become aware of where you may have a belief that's obstructing your ability to forgive. You don't have to take much time to think, just whatever you feel, just write it down.